Darkness, cold metallic floor, a whirring sound like gears turning in the distance. He was lying down but sat up abruptly. His body felt strange, stiff, not his own. He was in a vast circular chamber. The walls were metallic with strange symbols etched into them. Dim lights flickered, casting long, grotesque shadows. In the centre of the chamber was a massive dining table, groaning with food. But this was no ordinary feast. Glistening, pulsating organs sat beside roasted limbs ending in claws. A thick green fog hung over the table, making it difficult to breathe. The smell was overpowering, a mix of rotting meat and something sickly sweet. He was alone, but he could feel eyes on him, watching his every move. He cautiously approached the table. A low growl came from behind him, sending shivers down his spine. His eyes darted around the room, searching for the source of the sound, but there was nothing there. He forced himself to look at the food. Slithering tentacles dripped with an unknown slime. A severed head, its eyes still blinking, stared up at him. He felt a wave of nausea wash over him, but he knew he had no choice. Each dish was more repulsive than the last. He saw creatures from his darkest nightmares, fleshy, insect-like things with too many legs, amorphous blobs pulsating with an internal light, things that defied description, twisting and contorting before his very eyes. He had to eat, he had to win, but at what cost? A disembodied voice echoed in the chamber. It was cold and metallic, devoid of emotion. "Welcome," it said. "You have been chosen to partake in our feast. Eat, and you shall be rewarded beyond your wildest dreams. Fail, and you become the feast." The prize money flashed in his mind, a life-changing sum, enough to finally escape his dreary existence. But the thought of eating this abomination. He picked up what looked like a charred limb. It was surprisingly heavy and cold to the touch. He brought it to his nose, trying to ignore the putrid smell. He took a small bite, the texture like overcooked chicken, but the taste indescribable. He swallowed, fighting the urge to vomit. The disembodied voice spoke again, a hint of amusement in its tone. 5 down, 95 to go. Section 4, a battle for survival. Days, or maybe it was hours, blurred together. The chamber became his world, the grotesque feast his only companion. He ate, driven by a primal need to survive, to escape this nightmare. He tried to block out the taste, the smell, the feeling of something watching him with every bite. The creatures seemed to grow more sentient with each passing moment. Their eyes followed him accusingly. Sometimes he could have sworn he heard whispers coming from the food itself, taunting him, urging him to give up. He was losing his grip on reality. Was this even real? Or was he trapped in some kind of sick game? He longed for the familiar, for the mundane, for anything but this. Section 5. The price of failure. He was growing weaker, his body rebelling against the horrors he was forcing it to consume. He could feel his sanity slipping, the line between nightmare and reality blurring. The creatures seemed to sense his weakness, growing bolder, their whispers turning to growls. One night he snapped. He couldn't do it anymore. He pushed away the plate, the half-eaten carcass of some unimaginable beast sliding across the table. He screamed, a primal scream of frustration and fear echoing through the chamber. The disembodied voice, colder than ever, echoed in the silence that followed. A wise decision. Some things are even too much for our stomachs to handle. He looked up, a glimmer of hope flickering in his chest. Was it over? Had he won? Section 6, Reality Bites. The scene shifted. He was back in his own apartment, sitting at his computer. The screen displayed a message. "Congratulations! You have won!" Below it was a number with more zeros than he could count. Relief washed over him. He had done it. He had survived the nightmare. He was free. He reached for his phone, wanting to tell someone, anyone, about what he had just been through. But as he picked it up, he noticed something strange. His reflection in the screen, it was different. His skin was paler, his eyes reflecting an unnatural light. He opened his mouth to scream, but all that came out was a low growl. His fingers, long and bony, tapped on the screen, opening a food delivery app. He was starving and he knew exactly what he wanted to eat.